The monoploid is a ready-made inbred, produced in half the time, and these 100% pure inbreds show a marked degree of uniformity. The result is a happy one for the corn breeder. The genetic traits are fixed, and they can be counted upon to breed true. Seed samples of all inbreds must be kept until they can be tested in crosses. Not all inbreds are good, and many are discarded. But once an inbred line has passed the initial testing stage, it will follow a standard procedure employed on all new DeKalb hybrids. The old-fashioned method of painstakingly pulling out the tassel on every female plant may be on the way out. Loring Jones has been developing male sterile inbred lines for several years. Notice the comparison between a sterile line which has no apparent anthers and which sheds no pollen with a fertile tassel loaded with pollen. Pollen is the male element. Changing a proved inbred line to a sterile one is a complicated process. Jones describes the method with the use of these diagrams. On your left, the female cell, having sterile cytoplasm, is cross-pollinated with the proved inbred line at the right. This proved line is carrying excellent genetic qualities that have been shown by tests to be desirable, and which appear in the diagram as the blue worm-like chromosomes. The objective is to replace the fertile cytoplasm with the sterile cytoplasm, but still retain the same excellent genetic characters of the proved inbred line. This is done through 6 generations of backcrossing or breeding back to the original proved line. As generation after generation passes, note how the good genetic characters are being built up. They were half red and half blue to start with after the first crossing. Each succeeding generation reduces the number of red and increases the number of blue until the 6th generation, when all of the good genetic characters have been built into the line carrying the sterile cytoplasm. Reviewing the process, a sterile line is crossed with a fertile line. Through 6 generations of backcrossing back to the original proved line, a new sterile inbred is obtained, which is entirely male sterile and still carries all of the good economic characters of the original line. Used in production fields, these sterile inbreds not only eliminate much detasseling, but result in a better product. This diagram illustrates how the final cross is made using the male sterile on the one side with the addition of a fertility restoration element on the other side, which helps assure fertility in the commercial hybrid. All phases of the DeKalb breeding programs are speeded up tremendously through the use of a winter nursery at Homestead, Florida. Here, as many as 2 successive generations can be grown in a single winter season, and those, coupled with the one in the north, add up to as much as 3 years' research condensed into one. The Homestead Nursery is devoted to the development of new inbred lines and new experimental single and double crosses. Glenn H. Stringfield, longtime corn breeder with the United States Department of Agriculture and the Ohio Experiment Station, is now utilizing his wealth of knowledge and experience in developing new DeKalb inbred lines. This encompasses the relationship of high yield, thick population, and excellent standability with low ears on the stalk. String, as he is known among corn scientists, is busy at work harvesting this new material. All of the corn of the entire nursery is gathered together and dried before trucking or flying north for planting in the experimental plots and breeding nurseries scattered over the Corn Belt. Probably the most important phase of the entire research program is the comprehensive testing necessary to properly evaluate the results. It is only in this way that the corn breeder can know what his work has accomplished. Experimental crosses are checked in many master plots, where as many as 2,500 individual crosses are being compared. Each row is a separate entity and is carefully checked for appearance, shank length, standing, and weight. Weighing the 20-row hand-planted entry gives a comparison for yielding ability. It must be increased in isolated plots, and the single cross used for planting in pilot fields. Very limited heat from the pilot fields are then used in a survival where each new experimental must defend itself in numerous comprehensive variety plots as indicated on the map. In addition, state official yield trials throughout the country add to the testing information. An aerial view of a DeKalb comprehensive test plot shows where the new experimentals are pitted against outstanding DeKalb and competitive varieties already proved by customer acceptance. Here, too, various planting rates from as low as 12,000 per acre up to 20,000 plants create a severe stress so that only the most outstanding can succeed. The plots are viewed by experienced corn scientists several times during the season with extensive notes being taken. All of the information is placed on punched cards and then tabulated to bring together all of the valuable data from the many locations. One or two new hybrid varieties out of the thousands tested is considered a most worthwhile reward for the hundreds of hours that have gone into the research for a better hybrid. For it is here, in these comprehensive variety tests, that a new hybrid is found and evaluated. Only the best can be good enough to warrant the farmer's confidence in the DeKalb hybrids which he plants. East and west, north and south, America is finding new uses for corn, the crop that has nourished the nation from Pilgrim days till now. Some like it green, green and tall against the summer sky, green and succulent pouring into the feed bump, green and tender for the cattle. Yes, some like it green. And some like it gold, a golden stream cascading from the spout, a golden mountain growing in the wagon box. Some like it green, some like it gold, some like it in the crib 9 months old. A comforting store against the long, cold winter. Poultrymen feed their caged layers, mashes enriched with corn, or scatter the bright kernels on the ground. Hog raisers fatten their pigs on corn, and marbled steaks come from the great cattle feeders. Dairymen find that the corn plant makes fine feed for milk cows, and that corn is king of the ensilage crops. It seems like a long and weary road, but every step is necessary to ensure the best hybrids for which DeKalb is famous. Yes, in so many ways, through the control of the writhing, moving, creeping, probing, vacillating living cell, DeKalb scientists are making sure that tomorrow's harvest will be more beautiful, more bountiful, more rewarding than ever before. Acres of science are harnessing the living cell to do what man wishes.